Hi, welcome. This is the Hostos Student Leadership Academy orientation session. It's Friday, the last week in September that we would meet, and I'm glad that many of you could join us here today. We are also recording the session for those of you that are unable to join us. And we hope you'll have a chance to review some of the stuff that we talk about today. So the whole, just to give you a background on what we are and what you've joined and what you're a part of, even if like today is like, oh my God, it's too much and I have to leave. That's fine, but this is what we are, and it should be all encompassing and all embracing for you. So as mentioned for the new folks in my email and my request to you, the SLA is sort of a volunteer organization. We live on the Hostos campus and have done so for 14 years, providing opportunities for students to engage in a variety of different ways and get involved in the campus community as leaders of the campus community. So yes, there is a Student Government Association. Yes, there are other organizations on the campus, and there are other student leaders who participate in a variety of different ways, but we do a lot of the heavy lifting that has to happen throughout the course of the year. And that includes our own internal mechanisms for what makes us a leadership group. So we do weekly workshop series where we invite recognized speakers and alumni speakers to come and speak to you about leadership development and leadership development skills. We also do a ton of volunteer work, which has sort of been sidelined through the pandemic. But when we were last in full blossom, working completely without a pandemic, we were doing 52 volunteer projects at least a year, and then one volunteer project every week. And that it didn't happen like every week. But we did 52 volunteer projects throughout the course of the year. And we got up to as many as 99, and we were recognized for our efforts by a number of different organizations. And our volunteer projects, just to give you a general sense of what volunteering with the Leadership Academy looks like, was something as complicated as going out and tree maintenance in a park, or feeding the hungry at a soup kitchen or a food pantry, and giving out gifts to children during the holidays, or singing to senior citizens during the holidays, or spending some time with them. And is as simple as like doing things on our campus, like giving campus tours, providing information from the information booth, serving as representatives of the student body at campus events, which would include, things like the Christmas tree lighting. There are a number of events that run throughout the course of the year, and different people take on different roles. So we do have a number of our members here who have served in previous capacity. Some of them are alumni, and I will let them talk about some of their experiences, and you'll hear about that. The one thing I want to say about the volunteering, which is really important, because people, when you look at the application, and some of you may have never even seen the application because of the way that I'm communicating to sort of open things up for everybody, it says a certain number of hours have to be completed in order for you to meet the requirements. We're not like the honors program. We're not like ASAP. We're not like any other program that exists on our campus. This is a sort of program where the responsibility is yours. You take on the responsibility. You're sort of counting up your numbers. Obviously, I keep track of everything. Everything is put into Google Doc and then put into an Excel form, and we keep track of it so that, down the road when you need that letter of recommendation, or you need a phone call to be made on your behalf, or whatever you need from me, I can do that and provide that information, to whoever is asking. But the onus is really on the students to sort of meet their own requirements. And one of the ways that we do that and allow that to happen is that we run year round. So yeah, we talk about semester by semester. If you join the Emerging Leaders Program, you're like on a semester by semester basis, but everybody can do everything throughout the course of the year at any time. So we do run programming during the winter. We have run volunteer projects during the summer. We do run volunteer projects during spring break. We do run volunteer projects on the weekends, as also during the week. Um, so there's a variety of different ways that we do that. And throughout the pandemic, we've tried to add some things that are in person, that have been certified by the school to do, and we've tried to add some things that are virtual. So last year, Stefan was in charge of putting together We had been going to Chinatown for a lot of years to sing to the senior citizens, and Stefan put together a virtual singing that we did of holiday songs for the seniors in Chinatown that we would normally visit. So we have accommodated in some way some of the online virtual formats. It hasn't been complete, and I can't say that I'm going to expect anybody to reach the, that 40-hour volunteer thing that we had as a standard. Right now, we're going to work in, within the bounds of what CUNY says we can do and what our own college says that we can do. But I know that a lot of people in their responses to the form said that in-person volunteering was something that they wanted to do, and so I'm going to make an effort to allow us to do that. Again, all of this is voluntary. Nobody is ever going to be forced to do anything. You make your own plan for yourself, and you abide by that plan. And I abide by your vision for yourself when it comes to what it is that we're doing. Obviously, we set some standards for ourselves so that people can meet those standards. And basically, how we award that is at the end of the year, we do some certificates that everybody gets, and the designation is like excellent or participation. And so if you've exceeded or meet or exceed whatever it is that you've signed on to do, then you get this excellent certificate. And if you do what you just around the a certain amount of stuff over the time, you get a participation certificate. They're still each one is equally as valuable because they show that you're part of the program, and you will never ever hear me saying, no, I'm not going to write your letter of recommendation, or I'm not going to speak up on your behalf. That's my job. Once you sign on that dotted line, you say you want to be part of this, I'm going to back you up until, the day you or I are no longer in existence. I say that on a regular basis to my alumni, and I have done that. So I've been on campus since 2007. I still write letters of recommendation for people who graduated in 2007. We have a United States diplomat who's serving in Qatar right now, who graduated in 2008. And we are still in contact, and she comes back and actually was part of a program that we did on Juneteenth last year to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and some of the issues that were occurring in our country. And I was proud to have her come back and join me. But it's just to say that, people don't go away. People are consistently involved. So it's never going to be like all of the stress and all of the pressures on one individual person. You have alumni support, you have membership support, and of course, new people are getting involved. And we're always all there together working on these projects. So, but the onus, the responsibility is going to be yours to meet the standard that you set for yourself. And just to give you sort of a sense of like some of the other things that appeared on the form that I will let some of the members who are going to speak talk about. We had been running a yearly retreat. I don't know if that's going to happen this spring. If it can in any way, shape, or form, I would love to be able to do that, where we go out and do team building activities and do high ropes, low ropes, climbing wall. I'd love to be able to return to that, to take everybody out of the Bronx and take them into the woods and give them a chance to sort of breathe fresh air and have a sort of leadership experience that a lot of other colleges around the country have. We also were getting involved. We did do the Model UN and have done that for 10 years straight. This is the first year in 10 years we won't, and 11 years that we won't do it. And it's because it's in person, and CUNY has restricted the travel for everybody. So last year was virtual. We were able to do it virtually. This year we won't be able to do it, but we plan to return in the fall of next year. So if your plans are still to be at Hostos and the pandemic ends and everything goes back to normal, we'll go back to doing that. That's a great experience. And there's a couple of people on here that have had that experience as well. And then we also, we engage as a family. So a lot of organizations, a lot of units, a lot of clubs function in a way where you are like a part of something. They say, well, you have to do this. This is your responsibility. And I think what you'll hear from the people who are part of the program who are going to speak and what they'll tell you is that the real lifeblood of the Hostos Student Leadership Academy is that you're part of a family, that you can rely on people to give you support on efforts that you want to make, that you will rely on alumni to give you ideas and a vision of how you can get from where you are right now to where they are, because a lot of people have similar journeys and want to learn how to be, go into medicine, go into diplomacy, go into educational leadership, medical leadership, and a lot of different places that we have people, engineering leadership. We have a lot of people all over the place. So it's an opportunity to communicate with them. And it's really, and when I say it's family, it's really like a text message away. I think some of the folks who are here can talk about that. So I want to give our folks a chance to speak who have been part of the program because they made some time to be here today. I know busy schedule. So Isabel, I think I'm going to let you go first. And then Stefan, I'm going to let you follow because I know you guys have some other things to do, and then we'll move around from there. So does that sound good? And then if there are any questions at the end, I'm here and I'm more than willing to answer the questions. And I think you can ask any questions you want in the chat, and we can also, people can answer those things as well. Sound good? All right, Isabel, you're up.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Isabel Neira Sanchez. I am alumni from Hostos Community College this past semester. This past semester, I was a member of a student leadership, a student government association, and also I am a member of SLA Leadership Academy. I am very happy to share my experience in Leadership Academy SLA at Hostos Community College. In this amazing program, I learned how much important it is to help each other. I learned how important it is to serve each other in our community. I remember one upon a time, we were painting in the South Bronx community with Mr. Jason and many students from Leadership Academy. That time was amazing in my life, was amazing experience. We were support and help our community with our services. This was an amazing experience. Here in this program, not only you are involved with the community, also you can develop your skills and help to create many projects such as Mr. Jason explained after that. I will share another experience in my life. I participate in Model Senate in the project that's happened in Albany. And Leadership Academy support and made possible all this project. This program has many opportunities for you. After participating in the Model Senate, I have been many opportunities in my life. Then I was part of many programs and become a member of different programs at Hostos Community College. I am very sure you will have a great experience in your life if you become an active leader in this amazing family, SLA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabel. All right, Stefan, you're up.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stefan Divella. I am a graduate of Hostos Community College. I graduated this past spring. I think that, like every story kind of starts with the beginning. So I think my experience with SLA was, I was one of those students that came into school and was like, I don't want to have any friends. I don't want to really engage with the community. I just want to get my degree and leave. That kind of changed when I found the SGA booth, and there were people from the Student Leadership Academy that were kind of there to bring people into the family, so to speak. And I remember going past the booth every day, and I'd hear stories about Jason. I'd hear stories about the traveling they did, and I'd hear stories about how much fun it was being a part of this community. And I maybe took 1,000 applications. So I want to apologize to Jason for all the wasted paper. But at the end of the day, I think it was spring 2017. I actually applied for the academy. I remember walking into Jason's office and telling him, if you're not in my life, I'm going to fail. And he said something earlier that he says to all of us. He says he'll be in our lives until the day he expires, and until the day we expire. He truly means that. And he fights for you. I think the academy, he's taught us how to be advocates, how to be partners, how to be family. He's definitely brought people in that have taught us different soft skills and definitely have taught us how to kind of overcome our own bad habits and maybe shortcomings even. I know that I wasn't always secure in my leadership, and I didn't really feel like a leader until maybe my second year in SLA. Jason, did a good job of saying an event that I helped organize, which is really hard, to get to that point where I did that. And it's a learning experience. And Jason is going to work with you guys until you get to that level where he can let you go. And the academy will work with you. We talked about the camaraderie, the family aspect of our academy. Like every single person that I know in the academy is a text message away. They are truly my brothers and my sisters, and I love them dearly. They have helped me through some of the most challenging periods of my life, and truly to see new members kind of interested in joining our society is incredible, because you'll get a chance to know the family like I do. You'll get a chance to get the stories from alumni that will tell you stories about, like their past with Jason and the old days. And when you have a conversation with Jason about the old days, you guys will know what I'm talking about. But it's truly an amazing experience. I've had the amazing opportunity to go to Colorado, to go to Syracuse, to go to Albany, to go to Washington, D.C., also to participate in the Malawi Leadership Academy through SLA. I've also spoken at multiple conferences, volunteered at any organization you could imagine, just because of our mission to help the world become more sustainable and also to help the world become a better place. It takes one person, and I'm glad that those of you are here are trying to be one and trying to make a difference. And one of the earliest lessons I learned from Jason was leadership isn't about grand. It's not about the grand spectacle of it. It's about pressing an elevator door and waiting on people to come out of it. And I truly am glad that you're considering joining the society. I'm sure my colleagues have more great things to say about the academy, because I could talk about it all day, but I will leave it to the next person. And I will just say thank you and challenge you. Like, if you're having doubts and whatever, I heard a person speak this morning, and she said, don't be the person that tells you no. There's enough people in the world to tell you no. Don't be one person to tell yourself no. Take a chance. It's going to be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Jason will stick with you through thick and thin. Trust me, I'm an alumni. He loves me. So definitely just stay locked in. Come to sessions. They're inspiring. They're motivational. They're awe-inspiring. And the connection that you make to other students, it's probably nothing like you've ever experienced, because you all are growing in unison. So I just want to say thank you for hearing me out. And Jason, it's on you.
All right. When he talks about pushing the elevator door, we have this commitment in Brooklyn for years where we hand out gifts to children, and some people would get to, make crafts with them. And so, but they needed somebody to guide people to the elevator to get downstairs. And so this was like Stefan's first experience in Brooklyn. He was like, I have to press the button of the elevator for people. It's like, it's part of leadership, right? Looking out, guiding people to the places that they need to go. There are bigger things and there are smaller things. I think Stefan's right in the fact that one of the things that we believe in as part of our group is that, every role is a leader role, right? There are leaders and followers, but every good leader is both a leader and a follower at one point or another. And so everybody in this group who will speak today, or even some of the folks who are here, they'll tell you, they've been in the hot seat, in the front seat, and had to take all the pressure at some point, and they've been behind the scenes sometimes doing all the important work that needs to get done behind the scenes, that people don't always acknowledge. Like Isabel has been on stage representing us with the president, but she's also been behind the scenes, like counting the number of students who attended our winter workshop series. So every leadership aspect works out in one way or another. There's no we don't have a view that leaders are people who just stand out in front and preach at you. We have a view that leaders are people who participate in the process and take on important roles in that process. So I'll give it to Andre now. Maybe he can talk about retreat stuff, because he loves the retreat. But you can also talk about all your other stuff too.
Thank you, Jason. Uh, Hello, everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Andre. I am a part of the Student Leadership Academy at Hostos, but I am currently attending Lehman College. Um, I graduated from Hostos, I believe, 2020, so last year in the spring. Um, like what Isabel and Stefan said earlier, it is important to join the Leadership Academy, not only because you want to improve yourself, but you get to help others as well. And you help each other grow. Like speaking from my own personal experience, I was very shy before I entered the Leadership Academy. You can ask Stefan, he's my very good friend. And as I progressed and went through each semester at Hostos, I grew much more as a person. I learned to speak better in front of others. And I also participated in activities to help me continue on the right path. I also was part of the SGA at Hostos. So I wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for the Leadership Academy, because it really like got me out of my shell. And for the retreats are a very good way of participating and also growing with others, because you learn to have the right mindset, you get to have fun and meet new people. And I would also like to say that while you're in the Leadership Academy, you have to know that it's for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. You have to do it for yourself. That's the most important thing, the most important advice I can give you. Thank you.
Thanks, Andre. Hi, Kim, welcome. So yeah, so Andre sort of skipped out. He didn't give you all the details, like how terrifying it is to walk on a 40-foot high rope, you know, and train yourself to do that, or to climb the 60-foot climbing wall, or how much fun it is to like participate in the boating and the archery when you're out there, or a scavenger hunt where I make you run around in the dark and find all the craziest things I could possibly think of. But it is a great way to sort of like escape the day in and day out of the Bronx, the city, and get out in the woods and sort of breathe fresh air and sort of like get to know people, you know, eat 3 squares with people, and you know, get to know them by, you know, staying up late, wandering around, you know, and just breathing the fresh air in the woods. I think that's really important. I've always valued that experience. And then also, I would say that, you know, Andre was part of the Model United Nations team a couple of years. He's also did the Model Senate in Albany. So he's had a good experience, and he may seem like he's shy or may talk about being shy. He's not really shy, because when we take pictures, he's like a 6'5" guy, and he wants to stand in front of everybody else, which is kind of funny, but it is what it is. So Andre, thank you for your presentation. And I think Sakina, did you want to speak?
I mean, I can.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. So, gosh, I can go on and on about the Academy. But first, my name is Sakina Switzer. I am a Hostos graduate class of 2018, and now am the chair of the Student Leadership Academy's Alumni Board. The Leadership Academy has placed me into positions of leadership that I didn't know I even was interested in being in. I have I came into the Leadership Academy as a work study student. So I didn't even know what the academy was about, what was going on. I was just here at the booth to make my work study money and go home. That's all I wanted to do. Little did I know we would make friends, we would be working on events, which I love event planning. Jason had no idea about those things. I love the behind the scenes. I love putting stuff together and making sure that a show or an event goes off without a hitch. And then next thing I know, that's where he sees fit to put me. I ended up in the SGA. Which was an amazing experience. I was able to go up to Somos. I had no idea there were so many ethnic politicians. I had no idea. These are experiences I would have never had had I not enrolled into the Leadership Academy. I was the student who just came to school, wanted to go home, and that was it. I was not interested in anything extracurricular, but not having it this past semester has been a punishment. I work on campus now, and not being able to roam the halls and mingle with you guys and pop into the offices when I want to. These are the things that leadership we're here for. We're here to see faces and make each other's lives easier and make each other's day go by faster and help each other in the middle of anything, like just popping on the bridge. We are more than a family, more than a text away. I've traveled and was able to say, hey, I'm on your continent. And somebody was there for me and just happened to be from SLA. These bonds that you get, that you um gain by being a member of the Leadership Academy, they're never going to go away. They're never going to break. This is the unbreakable chain. I don't know what Jason's talking about being there until he expires. Listen, we're not expiring. I don't know what's going to happen when you expire. I know we're going to still be here and continuing, and that's the plan. We have to continue and grow and build, change with whatever times. COVID is not going to stop us. We're still here, whether it's Zoom or whatever the next Zoom 0.359 trillion is going to be. We're going to be a part of it. I am so excited and glad that you all are on this call and interested in the Academy. I'm on campus. You can find me in the nurse's office. You can find me in the directory. I'm here to answer questions and help you with any way that I possibly can. And welcome to the Academy.
Thank you, Sakina, for reminding me of some of that stuff. Good to hear. So there are some others here who have been part of the program before. If they want to speak, they can, and some who are new. And again, we're recording this for some folks who aren't here. There were, just to give you a sense of the number of responses to my last email was, I think it was 34 folks who had responded. So there was a large group of people. As I said in my email, I'm going to work next week on placement based on what people asked for, what people were interested in. And then we'll go from there. And as I also mentioned in my email, my follow-up email to that was that there is a great deal of flexibility here. Nobody's going to make a demand on you to sit. If we see that you're fit to be an ambassador and you feel like that might be too much, nobody's going to tell you that you have to stay there. We want you to fit where you're going to fit. But it is a collaborative effort. A lot of the work that we do is collaborative, even in this environment of COVID-19. We have a Middle States review that's going on. So the college is going up for accreditation right now. And just to give you a sense, we need to find 50 folks to serve at a meeting to ask questions, give information about what works at the college, what doesn't work at the college, to the person who's coming from Middle State. So we're working on that. Just to give you another sense on things that are on my desk right now that I have to get clearance for. We do have an invite to go to the local parks. There are several of them around Hostos in the Bronx that we have worked with a group called The Bronx is Blooming for many years on doing tree restoration, maintenance, painting of the park and things like that. Until we get clearance, we can't do that, but we do have invites that extend throughout the month of October and November. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. We have worked annually with the Alzheimer's organization that runs an event in Upper Manhattan. That is currently on hold, but is available. We also work with another Alzheimer's organization in Lower Manhattan at South Street Seaport. They're asking for volunteers as well. That group in Brooklyn that I mentioned, where Stefan was pushing the elevator button, they're doing a 10K run and they're asking for volunteers as well. And so that's also on hold. That's also in October. And we also have our annual foray out at Orchard Beach with the American Cancer Society, making strides for breast cancer, and they have asked for volunteers. So I'm not trying to be like evasive in any way, shape, or form. Just based on the policy that CUNY has passed, I've asked the question of the administration and Hostos about whether we can participate in those events, and I'm waiting for a response. And I should get one probably either, you know, later this evening or early next week. I don't know. And as soon as I have that information, I will share it. And generally, how we work it is I'll send an email each week, which will have the academic portion of what we do, which is the speaking engagements. We also have developed a film series where you can actually access the films on your own and view them on your own. And we have leadership forums where we collaborate with other entities of the college that you may already be going to some of their events, whether it's the counseling center or career services. We try to offer those as things that you get credit for as well. And then you get a second email, which is the volunteer activities, which is these are the things that we're going to be doing over this period of time. If you want to sign up, you let me know, you give me your name. I put you on that list, and then we let you know in advance about what the steps are in order to be part of that volunteer project. So starting next week, you're going to get those two emails. Generally, one comes on Tuesday and generally one comes on Wednesday. I don't usually send things on Monday because your email box gets flooded on Monday by a lot of different things. So you keep your eyes out on Tuesdays for that. The other thing is that I'm very accessible. So even whether it's been this environment or the environment previous to this environment, which is what I call normal, not pandemic environment, everybody who's part of our group obviously has my cell phone number, email address, and is able to get a hold of me and tell me about things, you know, that are they're interested in, things that they're interested in doing, interested in participating in. And obviously, if we're going out together and we're volunteering somewhere, the only way that you're going to get me when I'm there is to actually text message me or call me and say, Jason, where are you? Right? Because we don't always all travel together from a particular location. Sometimes we do, a lot of times we don't. We just meet at the location, especially on weekends. And then, you know, so everybody has access to that, and you're more than welcome to have access to that. And I think what some of these folks will tell you who have been part of the program before is that I'm accessible pretty much all hours of the day. I do have to sleep eventually. I do have 2 kids, but if I see a text message from somebody that's important, I'm going to try to respond to it as quickly as I can. And I know Andres like texts me like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So that's what it is. I'm here for you. That's the point of the program, is to have somebody who's actually an anchor for all of you. And that would include dealing with issues on campus, dealing with any concerns that you have with classes, dealing with any kind of challenges that you face outside the walls of the institution as well. So I'm pretty well versed in a lot of the different things that go on our campus. If I don't know something, I generally know who to ask. But for instance, if you run into a problem where you're facing financial hardship, I can guide you to the right place. If you're looking for a letter of recommendation for a scholarship, I'm definitely the person you can ask for it. If you're looking for opportunities to engage beyond the walls of the campus, whether it's in an internship or whether it's getting involved with a political organization or getting involved with any kind of organization, really, non-profit, NGO, anything, I try to guide you in that direction. And of course, whatever the challenges are that you face, I try to support you as much as possible. And I think there's some people on the call who on the Zoom who will say that as well. And then, as Sakina mentioned, in her new role as the alumni board director, we are pulling together some of our alumni. We started this about 4 years ago. Obviously, the pandemic has affected us in a great way. But the alumni are still around. They still reach out to me. They still connect with me. They still want to know what's going on with the academy. And I have to spend hours and hours telling them about it because, it's so many different things that have happened. and they are willing to support. So people, so just to give you an example, Samantha, who's serving as our United States diplomat, definitely took text messages from Stefan and some other people about how to get involved in diplomacy. Elva Mendez, who's working as an anesthesiologist, who graduated from Hostos, went to Stony Brook, and then went to medical school for basically free. Has spoken to a number of different students who wanted to pursue medical careers and how we went about doing that. And we've had a lot of different people, who've gone on to different areas, different fields, who are more than willing to just take the time out and talk to you. That being said, we also have some of our alumni who will come back and make presentations. So I already know that in 2 weeks' time, Saint Backup Abui, who was both a member of the SLA and the student government president, and has presented to our group on a number of different occasions, will present to the group. And Saint's great story is the fact that, from Hostos, he went to Harvard. He's still at Harvard. He hasn't finished that as of yet. But in the course of time that he's been there, he's done a Shark Tank. He's written like 5 books. So he's kept himself busy, and he always comes back with a great story. And he's a great supporter of everybody who wants to, look into their future and see opportunities there. And I've also spoken to Michael Cruz, who's one of our great alumni as well, who went on to work in the Peace Corps, and has now got a job in Washington, D.C. And he's going to be with us in later October. And then we're also working on how we're going to deal with, the budget crunch and how we get some of our speakers who have been coming over the years. So just to give you a sense, last year, every speaker that came to speak to the Leadership Academy did it for free. I don't know how big of an impact that makes in a lot of people's heads, just to realize that people who are traveling internationally and nationally, speaking to colleges that have 100,000 students, and have big lecture halls, took the time out of their busy schedule to come and spend some time with us. I can't always ask for people to do things for free. The reason why they were willing to do it is because they embraced, what we are and what we've been, and the impact that members of the Leadership Academy have made on them when they've come to visit our campus. So we're going to negotiate that, figure that out, figure out a way to get some of those speakers back. We may not have a full slate of like 12 workshops for this year, maybe 8 as opposed to the other years, just because the budget is not in. But we do, just to give you a vision, I mean, as soon as things go back to normal and we're hearing 70% back on campus in the spring, we do hope to go back to some sort of semblance of normalcy, where people will be able to be compensated, where they will come into the campus, you'll be able to meet with them in person. Who knows what the mass situation will be, but just the opportunity to sort of engage with them. And I think some of our folks can talk about, some of these speakers and how impactful they can be, the work that they do on an annual basis to positively influence students who are exploring extraordinary opportunities is beyond something that I could even speak of myself. Because as a mentor to all of you, I see it and I envision it and I value it from the perspective of being an administrator at our college. But I don't necessarily get the full flux of it, the full feel for it, until you come to me and say, Arel Moody told me this thing and it changed my life and made me feel like I could do this. Or Juan Doe, was an inspiration to me to talk about how he overcame his obstacles to get to the places that he wanted to go. Brian Rashid or Dorothy Dobstad or other people who are nationally and internationally known. Who you may not know because, right, they speak on campuses, they speak to student leaders, they're not necessarily in the media, but they're out there and they're doing extraordinary work. They've been recognized by the President Obama, President Biden. I won't mention any other presidents that I know, but so they've been honored for their accomplishment and their achievement and their willingness to come and talk to members of the Leadership Academy. Makes me feel a great deal of positivity. So I'll be working on that over the next couple of days as well to sort of short things up for the fall. We do a winter workshop series. Last year we did it virtually. We did 8 workshops over 1 week in January. Just to give you a sense, when we were in person, we did something like, what we do, like 19 workshops over the course of 1 week in January, which had a dining etiquette and parliamentary procedure and speech writing and all sorts of other stuff. And Tai Chi, right? Every morning we do Tai Chi. I don't think that's going to happen for January of 2022. We'll probably be virtual again, but we did have a good slate of 8 speakers last year, and I think we can do that again. But my hope is, that we will be able to, have some of the spring activities, like possibly going to the conference in Colorado and possibly doing the SLA SGA retreat, and definitely, hopefully, having our ceremony. We have a capstone ceremony at the end of everything, which is where you get your certificates and we get to honor you for your accomplishments, your personal accomplishments over the course of the year. So I think I've talked plenty. I don't think that I have much more to say. There's always more to say about what we do. But if there are any questions, any comments anybody wants to make, I'm open. Your mics are free to open. Please feel free.
Hi,
Hi, Kim.
hi. I'm interested in volunteering, doing service with senior citizens. I know you talked about, working with people with Alzheimer's. How often do you do those kind of services?
So pre-pandemic, we would go, there's an organization called Isabella Geriatric Facility. We would usually visit there once a year. That slowed down a little bit, but annually we would go down to Chinatown to visit at the Chinatown Senior Center every Christmas time, holiday time, to visit with them and spend some time with them. We have visited other organizations over the years. And here's an interesting point that I skim over, because during the pandemic, it's been really hard. Sometimes projects that are valuable to you become valuable to us. Every project that we are involved in that we could call an annual project was brought to me by somebody who was part of the academy. I didn't come up with any of this, right? I'm not the developer of any of it. And I was here from the beginning, don't get me wrong, right? It's like, I came in November of 2007. They had something called the Ambassadors. It was 27 students. All they wanted was t-shirts. They didn't know what they wanted to do. But over the years, everybody came to me and said, this is a project we needed to do. And I embraced it as something that we should get involved in and go out there in the community and do. And so if anyone has a project that they want to get involved in, I will always embrace the possibility of getting involved with it. Some things are impossible to do. Some things are just like, because of the circumstances, because of the requirement to actually get in the door. It's really difficult to do. So doing things sometimes on school campuses, like middle school, elementary school campuses, is really difficult to do in person. Sometimes going and doing things in hospitals is really difficult to do because of restrictions. But anything that you want to bring to my desk, bring to my attention, I will explore and at least get a sense of whether or not it's doable. And at best, make it happen with you. And we've done that. I mean, visiting Isabella was not my project. It was a project brought to me by students. And revisiting Isabella was not my project. It was also brought to me back by some students. The Alzheimer's that I spoke about, they're walks. So it is a celebration, 2 celebrations, one that happens in Uptown Manhattan, one that happens in Downtown Manhattan, where we actually provide service by, the downtown one is beautiful. They give out these flowers that spin and you write in them, and they're color coded for how you are connected to people with Alzheimer's. It's a lovely ceremony and a lovely walk that they do. And we participate in that. And then the Uptown one, is a walk, and we have like served in a variety of capacities at different tables, providing information, cheering on the walkers, giving out snacks, and Stefan even dressed up as what he dressed up as last 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he dressed up as a minion. He's not proud of it, but it was exciting for me that we took on the role of dressing up as a character for the event. And every aspect of an event has leadership potential and value for learning experiences. And Stefan, I won't tell the story, but Stefan has a great story about what he learned by being in the costume that some people would never ever think about. So it was interesting to have that conversation with him as well. And we do a lot of other walks throughout the course of the year as well. So yeah, Kim, if you have something that you want to bring to my attention about some program, or you want to explore some opportunities, please let me know and we can look into it for sure.
The only reason why I asked, because since we've been in the pandemic and I'm in my major is aging studies. I wasn't prepared for this, so please excuse me. And I just noticed that a lot of seniors are so isolated, and it's just that I know that they because of the pandemic, and my thing is that how can we, socialize with them again without, infecting them, or just letting them know that it's okay for them to come out and socialize again. Because I just know since I've been in the pandemic, and even though I'm going to school and everything, and I'm on, doing my schoolwork and everything, I noticed that the pandemic was very hard for me. So I know it must be very hard for someone who's, up in age and they don't know how to, use the computers and how to socialize and the way they used to socialize, because we all been in isolation. I just wanted to know if there would be a program that we could go see people that's like in, I know, nursing homes, and let them know that things are going to get better for them.
No, I hear you. So in person, probably not yet, but there may be a way to do those things virtually, and we can definitely explore those opportunities. There's a couple of our alumni who are actually working in the field. So I will reach out and see if they know of a program that's running to do maybe virtual interaction with senior citizens. And maybe we can add that to our fall schedule. We'll definitely, reach out to Chinatown again. I don't think Isabella has that as part of their infrastructure, but I do have some folks who are working in the local Bronx community who may have some insights as to programming that may be happening where there's some sort of interaction like this with senior citizens. So I'll look into it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Any other questions, comments?
No question, but just thanking the alumni for speaking and taking the time to talk to us. So thanks.
Well, you'll find that they'll be there whenever you need them. I mean, one of the things, it's a strange thing being in higher ed. It's like sometimes when you talk to people, especially when you get into conversations with people who are involved with fraternities and sororities, alumni are not really popular, right? They're like, they want their money, but they don't want their opinions. They're like, we don't want to hear from you guys to tell us what we're supposed to do. So I hear a lot of that, but with our group, it's never really like that. It's sort of like an embracing of what new ideas can come out of the group. And that's been true over the years. I mean, it's just people who have gone before you want to know that it still exists because they want to know that the seeds that they planted are valued and appreciated. And they always come back to sort of see what the new thing is, what the new twist on what they did was. And like I said, we do this. We used to do the ceremony. Hopefully, we'll do it in person again. Called Passing the Torch at the end of the year. And every year, 30 to 40 alumni would come to the event just to applaud, cheer on the people who came after them. And we'd sort of give them their time as well, call the name again, and say, welcome back. And I think it was a wonderful celebration that we had every year. And they were always, felt empowered by the accomplishments of the new group. Like I did something, I was part of this way back when, and it's still going and still kicking some butt and doing some great stuff. So I think that's what you'll find with alumni, that they're really proud of every new step that's taken on behalf of the Leadership Academy. And you'd be surprised how many of your predecessors have gone on to do extraordinary things and are making inroads in different areas. And that's always what I'm proud of, right? Because you realize that people who graduated from Hostos and graduated from our program have gone out there into the world and actually, are making a difference in the lives of other people and doing it the right way, right? Not sort of like looking at leadership from a perspective of like I'm in power, but looking at leadership as I can empower. And we will have people who have run for office. We do have people who are both Republican and Democrat. We do have people who look at things from every side of the coin that you can imagine. We do have a variety of people from all over the world. At last count, and this is pre-pandemic, it was 72 different countries were represented in our midst. And everybody from every different program that we've run at Hostos, and people have gone on to do different things, right? Go to private colleges, Ivy League schools, go to public colleges, CUNYs and otherwise SUNY colleges, and have pursued their goals and their dreams through those programs. And the wonderful thing about it is that they're always willing to come back and give back, talk, make contributions, and support the efforts of what it is that you do. I just give a shout out to one of our alumni, Rokia Diaby, who served on our alumni board and was so passionate about the model United Nations that over the last 2 years, both going in person in DC and then virtually in DC, basically ran the program for me, where it took a lot of stress off of me and allowed her to be the leader of that group. And she had done it herself when she was a student. And she's gone on to do extraordinary things. She worked for Congressman Espaillat. She worked for a law firm. She has dreams of becoming a lawyer herself, even though her culture has told and her family have told her that she cannot. There are wonderful people out there who are pursuing their dreams and doing extraordinary stuff, who you will have access to because you have access to me in the program. And so please, if there's something that you want to know about, if there's something you hear about in one of our discussions, our Friday meetings, please let me know, or you meet somebody out and volunteering, don't be shy, ask them what they do, ask them what they're about, when they graduated, what are they doing now? Because they'll tell you some extraordinary things that sometimes I don't even know. I've always admired the relationships that people have created. As a side note, it's like people have been married out of the Leadership Academy. People have found each other's apartments for each other at the Leadership Academy. People have, been best man, best women, and all sorts of other stuff. And, it is what it is. It is family, and as Sakina mentioned, it's a little bit more than family as well. So it's Friday afternoon. I think we've sort of covered a lot of stuff. I don't want to cut anybody off, but it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. I will be sending those emails next week. I will be posting this video on YouTube, so people who didn't make it here today can actually have a listen. Henry, thanks for being here. There's amazing people, even in the program right now, who have life experiences and can tell you their stories as well. So that's what Stefan was mentioning in terms of like the engagement when we come together, whether it's virtually or in person, getting to actually talk to some extraordinary people like, Henry and Lam and Andre and Bridget and Sakina and, all these people who spoke, Isabel and Stefan, and a lot of other folks who aren't here right now. So I thank you. I wish you a happy Friday. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you for being here. And I will be in touch next week, giving you updates on everything and hopefully have a lot more information to disclose. All right, seeing no more questions. Oh, yes, maybe, kind of. Okay. Good to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Kim. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you, guys.